It takes time with me. It takes time with me. And, I played with the baby, whatever, and then we went to bed. And then that night, I went in my notebook, and I wrote about Sherry. Her name was Sherry. And I wrote about Sherry, how I had met her, how we came to fall in love. She was my sister-in-law, but I loved her as much as my brother. She had my back. When she had her third daughter, Alexa, I spent the last 4 months of her pregnancy with her. Every night I was her personal butler. I was broke. I was a mooch, and I was living off her. And every night I would Mike, my brother, would go out to shoot darts and shit. He's a nut. And he'd go, stay home with my wife. And me and her, I would smoke pot and blow the smoke in her face, because she couldn't smoke pot, so she just wanted me to blow the smoke at her. And she fucking would give me money, go get Chinese food. And we watched Goodfellas every fucking night. Every fucking night. And if I did comedy, I'd come home early and we'd do the same shit over and over again. Chinese food, Goodfellas, and she'd make me blow pot smoke at her. But she always pushed for my comedy. And she told me something once about one of my jokes, and I stopped doing the joke. But when my sister-in-law died, I just came downstairs and I wrote about it. And I wrote about our relationship, how we became friends, what she had done for me, what I had done for her, and what she would have told me in that casket. As creepy as this sounds, when a person is in a casket and you're looking at them in a wake, you're thinking about your times with them. Like with her, they had like a screen, like a LED screen, and they had like pictures of the family, and they showed a picture of us at the Borgata by a slot machine, and my fucking heart stopped. And it was me and her. I had a relationship with my brother, and I had my relationship with my sister-in-law, and I loved her to death. So I came up with the conclusion the same way I mourned my mother, how I came up with my mother, how I came up with Dominic and Anthony, and I do this with everybody. Marilyn, when Marilyn Martinez died in 2007, I stopped snorting coke maybe a week after that, And in September, Marilyn died November 3rd or November 1st or something, Rick Ramos' birthday, but in September, she had something in her house. They were like a little party, a get-together. You could tell she had a couple days left. She wasn't going to live. And then we were having a conversation, and she was telling me that if she ever lived, she wouldn't do dirty comedy anymore. And in the conversation, she looked at me, and she goes, and Joey, you have to stop doing cocaine. And I took it like as a message from God. Like, me, dog, I look for messages. I was like, why would me and Marilyn be having a conversation about comedy? And all of a sudden, she just comes out and says, I have to stop doing cocaine. Well, I'll tell you guys, a week later, I stopped doing cocaine. And here we are 13 fucking years later. So what I decided to do was, every time somebody dies that's close to me, I think of what they wanted for me, okay? What did they want for that person? I want the best for Mike. I want Mike to grow up and be a man. He is a man. He's got 2 kids. He's supporting them. He's keeping a roof over his house. He's not a convicted felon. He's a gentleman. He brought my wife and daughter Valentine's Day presents. I mean, the kid's a great kid. He's living the life that I would want him to live. He doesn't snort glue. He's on time. You think of that person and you go, what would that person would have wanted me to, what extraordinary thing would that person want from me? I stopped snorting coke. The pain must have gone away. My daughter, the pain must have gone away. Whatever, all these things, the pain just doesn't go away. You have to cut a deal with that pain and stick by that fucking deal. In my mother's case, I had a girlfriend. I was living with her for 4 or 5 years. I wasn't giving her 100% of Joe Diaz. I was giving her 50% of Joe Diaz because Joe Diaz's soul belonged to comedy. And I said, that's it, this has to stop. I have to give this girl 100% of Joey Diaz, or we're not going to have a relationship. I also have to live the life that my mother wanted me to be. All my mother wanted out of me, she didn't want me to be a lawyer. I mean, listen, my mother wanted me to go to the Army, to go to college, and then go fight in a war. She wanted me to actually shoot people for this country. That's how much she loved America. But the thing she said to me 10 days before she died one night is, I just want you to grow up and be a man. And what does a man mean? That you go out fucking everything, or you get your dick sucked every night? No, that you adhere to your responsibilities as a man. Before the podcast started, Mikey was here. I got a call from my agent, who I love dearly, and I told him about something. I'm making a move. You know, I had to make another move in a different direction. And he was really cool with it. And I told Mike, this is how we do it. We have to deal with people like this, because if you don't, then you got nothing. You have to be straight with people. That's what a man does. You have to pay your debts. That's what a man does. You have to fucking open up a door. You know, you have to do what a man does. So for me to make my mom's death easier, and dog, I did not figure this out at 20. That's why I had a rough 20. Why did I have a rough 30? Because I didn't figure this out. I didn't figure this out till I was 43 years old. And then I quit coke at 44. I wanted to grow up to be the man my mother wanted me to be. I stopped doing coke, and I became the man my mother wanted me to be. I own a home. I have a daughter. I have a wife. I have a great relationship with my wife. You know, my wife calls me Spider, right, from Goodfellas. You know that, right? My wife thinks I'm an idiot, so she calls me Spider, right? So people don't know. That's my other nickname, is Spider from Goodfellas. Yeah, please, we have a great relationship. I am very lucky. I treat her like a man. You know, she's going away this weekend with my daughter. They're going skiing and shit. I can't, obviously, what am I going to ski with one leg? You know.